Shalom, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I'm going to go over a few things. As you can see by the title of this message, you have to learn my language. This is one of the things God said to me when I was early on, a year ago, investing in the Hebrew New Testament books written by Dr. Al Garza and Miles Jones. And Miles Jones wasn't as advanced along the project as Dr. Al Garza and James Trim were, but I already got a lot of the Hebrew New Testament through them. Reading the English side of their books and their translations, I quickly realized, after asking somebody that could read Hebrew, that a lot of these passages weren't translated word for word verbatim correctly at all. So I was very disappointed, because here I am thinking everything on the English side correctly matches the Hebrew, and therefore nothing much is different in a lot of the passages aside from the Greek text that is significant in any way to point out, that is different, that is, better. And so I had told God, just very briefly, I said, I'm very disappointed. I'm just very disappointed. And he told me, I wasn't expecting him to respond, but I heard him very clearly. He told me that if I wanted to learn his scriptures, that I would have to learn his language. And that's why I began learning Hebrew. I figured it was time after 4 years of learning Torah. With that being said, I just want to dive right in. I'm going to go to the New Testament. Then I'm going to also translate a few of the Old Testament passages, just to show you and to teach you some Hebrew, right? Something that a lot of people in the Hebrew roots cannot and do not do. So, first things first, we're going to go to a really easy passage, but there are two words in here that are very, very interesting. And so, let's go to 1 Thessalonians 1:1 in the Hebrew New Testament. Now, here I have provided for you the words broken down with the English underneath, as accurate as I could. So, Polos is Paul. So, Polos and Silvanos and Timotheus, or Timothy, to the assembly of, or the congregation of, the Thessalonikim, the cleavers, the ones who cleave, the cleaving ones, in God our Father and Yeshua the Messiah. So, breaking this one down very, very fast, you can see how easy it is. It's Paul, and then now there's a vav in front of Silvanos' name. So anytime there's a vav in front of a word, it means and or but. So in this case, it's and Silvanos and Timothy. Now the word here for El is to, right? A lot of the times we see El and we think of God. It doesn't always mean God, singular. In this case, and in many other cases in the Bible, right here it's being used as the word to someone. Now, one of the words I want to focus on is the word right here, adat, which is Ein Dalet Tav. It means the assembly of, or the congregation of. It's the same word. Now, the reason I'm pointing this out is because the word for assembly and congregation is adah, with a hey at the end, not a tav. The reason it has a tav is because it means of. So, the assembly of, the congregation of. They do this with the word Torah. They take off the hey at the end, and they'll put a tav to say the Torah of, Torat, Torah of, right? They also do this in other verses for faith. Emunat. Emunah is faith. Emunat is faith of, right? So it's another way of saying the word of. Now, Ein and Dalet is ad or od, and this means witness. So this is also found in Isaiah, where we get the list of the Messiah, that the weight of the government is on his shoulders, and that he is the everlasting Father, right? If you look at the Hebrew, it has the word avi od, not everlasting Father. It's avi od, meaning my Father's witness. So they mistranslate the English, but the proper word there is witness. And so what the assembly and what the congregation is, I believe in Aramaic it's adatah. But what the Hebrew for adah, the congregation and assembly, means is witness. So the congregations, the assemblies, are witnesses of God. That's part of our name, not church. We are witnesses. We are people that are witnesses of God. That's what it means to be an assembly and a congregation. So next word is the TaNaKim. Okay, that's just how you say it in Hebrew. It has the hey at the beginning of the word, meaning the. Now this is another word that's not here in the Greek. It's the next word, which is ha-devekim. This word actually means to cleave, right? And so with the im at the end, with the yod mem, it makes it a person or a people. And so we could say in English, the cleavers, or the ones who cleave, or the cleaving ones. Now this is interesting because this word is not here in the Greek. However, it is here in the Hebrew, and not really sure why. So I don't know if it's what it means to be a Thessalonian. You know, maybe the Thessalonians were known as cleavers, people that really clinged to God very tightly. And so that's why it's probably included in here. It's calling the Thessalonians the cleavers. Like, that's what they're known for. And then so we have Be Elohim, in God, Avinu, our Father. The nun and the vav at the end makes it our. And then Av is Father, but the inu part makes it our. Right? If it just said Avi, with no nun and vav at the end, it would be my Father. So altogether, it's our Father. Ube Yeshua. And, that's where the vav means. The bet means in. So, and in Yeshua, HaMashiach, everybody knows that one, the Messiah. Next half of the verse starts with Adonenu, which means our Adon, our master, our Lord. Chesed. Now this word is translated as grace, but it really means mercy. And in other times in the Psalms, they modernize it as loving kindness. Lechem, to you. Ve shalom, and peace. Me'et, from. This is the letter mem. Usually when it's put in front of a word, it means from. And then we have the et, which is a direct marker, a direct object marker pointing to Elohim here on the bottom, meaning peace from Elohim. Right? It's kind of hard to explain what et means in Hebrew, but that's the best way I can put it for now. Elohim, God. Avinu, our Father. Ve Adonenu, and, or Va Adonenu, and our Adon, our Master. Yeshua HaMashiach, the Messiah. Boom. Very simple, easy sentence. Moving on to another one, because we are at 9 minutes already, is Deuteronomy 10:20. Now this is where that word debak comes from. And I found it here in Deuteronomy 10:20. So, et, and I have a finger there pointing who the direct object marker is, which is Yahuah. Eloheinu, your God. Tira, when there's a tav in front of a word, depending on what the action is, it means you. It's talking to you, but it means you shall. Right? It's a command. You shall fear. And then there's oto, which means to him. Ta'avod. Now this is the Hebrew word ebed, with a command in front of it with the tav. So ebed is a servant or a slave. So with the command in front of it, it's saying you shall serve. Ubo, and to him. Tidebak, you shall cleave or cling. And that's the word that was found in 1 Thessalonians 1, right? The cleavers, the devakim. And in his name, ubishmo, right? So and is the vav, the bet means in, shmo, well shem means name, and then they have a vav at the end meaning his. So ubishmo, and in his name, tishabe'ah. So again, here we go. Does anyone recognize the word Sheba in there? That's where Shabuot, we get the Shabuot word, and 7, right? But then we have the tav in front, which is another command. So this word is the word for oaths. So you shall swear or take an oath. Yahuah God, you shall fear to him, and you shall serve him, and to him shall you cleave, and in his name you shall take oaths. Period. So I just want to show you real quick. I'm not going to break it all down, but right here in Psalm 13:6, we have chesed again as the second word, and it says, and I, or but I, in your mercy. So bechesedecha, meaning there's chesed, and then bet means in, and then now when there's a kaf at the end with a chametz, the cha after a word, that means your. Right, so we have it again over here with in your salvation, be shuatecha, right? There's the be, Yeshua is salvation, and then the techa, your. So in your salvation, be shuatecha. Then we have in your mercy, bechesedecha. So also it gets translated in many other verses, or depending on what translation of the Bible you have, it gets translated as mercy, grace, or loving kindness. So there's that word. And so every time Paul uses the word grace, he's always using the Hebrew word chesed for mercy. The Hebrew word for grace that I've pointed out before in one of my older videos is chen. Chen. And we don't have that in the New Testament. We have mercy. For you are saved by mercy, not by works, lest any man should boast. Then again, you can translate it as loving kindness, or a third way would be grace, but it's not necessarily the specific Hebrew word for grace. It's mercy. Moving on to 2 Timothy 4:2. Now this is going to be the interesting one before I even think about breaking down 1 Peter 3:21. So here we have a very interesting verse that the Greek doesn't translate this way, and you cannot get this from simply backwards translating a Greek verse into Hebrew. And so this shows that this had to have been what it was, and that the Greeks didn't like it, and they changed it, theological purposes or whatever, denominational purposes. Moving on to 2 Timothy 4:2. Please read this. Please pause the video and read this in your translation. Now come back and read this translation of the Hebrew. So, kara means declare. And what are you declaring? You are declaring debar, the word, right? The is implied. Now, here's where you're not going to get this word. Besorato, of his gospel. That's not in the Greek. It says declare the word in and out of season, right? No, right here it says declare the word of his gospel. Whose gospel? God's gospel. Velo, and do not. Techekdal, cease. Mikra, that's the congregation, right? When it says you shall have a kodesh mikra, it's saying you shall have a holy convocation. So do not cease from congregating, or do not cease congregating. Gam means also. Beito. Okay, so beito and ito is going to be used twice here. So there's several things that this means. I'm just going to line it up to make sense with the Greek for in season, but it means a lot of things. It means in time, it means now, it means all kinds of things, but we have to make it make sense for the sentence. So I'm going to keep it as in season. So do not stop congregating in season, and also when you're not in season. Ubekal, and with all, orech, long suffering or longing. Ruchacha, in your spirit. In is implied. So with all long suffering, your spirit, in your spirit. The cha at the end of ruach makes it your spirit. Hocheach and tokiach, or tochiach, because it doesn't have the dagesh in the middle of the kaf. But it should, so I would pronounce it tokiach. To prove, to confirm, or establish. To decide correctly, adjudge, dispute, to correct. And the next word is betig ar. So, and, reproof, scold, or tell off. Vetaz her. And teach, or instruct, or admonish. So let's go with teach. Lepi kol. According to all divrei, the words haTorah, of the Torah. So the Hebrew here, we have Paul telling us to declare the word of his gospel and do not cease from congregating in and out of season. And also with all long suffering in your spirit, you are to establish, correct, dispute, reproof, scold, tell them off, and teach or instruct according to all the words of the Torah. Now, we do not have that in your translation if you read your Bible first. So it's just very interesting. We have a direct command to observe the Torah here. And there's many more also. But that's going to be it for now. I'm going to stop right here. I just wanted to show you these verses and break them down for you so that you know or can start learning yourself some Hebrew and can trust what I'm actually saying. Because I have checked also with Rabbi Jeremy, as I always do, to confirm my translations at times, at least certain words, maybe not the whole thing, but wait till I get to 1 Peter 3:21, wait till I get to Titus 1:9, and several other passages that are very important. So I hope you liked it. I hope I was very clear, kind of explained it real quick just to give you the common breakdown for Hebrew, but anytime this is done, it does take time. So thank you for watching. Until next time, shalom.
So sing unto him a song of triumph. Sing a psalm to him anew. Grab your timbrels, your cymbals. Tune unto him a psalm that is new. Yes, exalt him, call upon him. Sing a song to him anew. Grab your timbrels, your cymbals. Tune unto him a psalm that is new. Yes, exalt him, call upon him. Sing a song to him anew.